Hello my friends and welcome back to Cafe Bagheri. On this channel we've been featuring foods that we love, and of course as a Persian I absolutely love rice. One of the most popular foods on the planet. Rice is so versatile. It can be cooked many different ways and enjoyed with many different side dishes. But trust me my friends, if you haven't had Persian saffron rice with a touch of butter, you haven't really had rice yet. When you come back here in a few seconds, we're going to make some Persian saffron rice together. Three ways to cook Persian rice. The first and most popular way is called Chelow, which involves boiling the rice and then steaming it. It's the popular white rice you see served with kebabs and stews or khoreshes. The second kind is Polow, which is a similar process but involves adding herbs, vegetables, and meats. And the third kind is called Sautée, which produces a sticky rice similar to Japanese sushi rice. All these three ways of cooking Persian rice have one delicious thing in common. It's a delicacy known as tahdig. So the process of cooking rice involves a lot of heat at the bottom of the pot. And what does that do? That creates a crunchy, tasty layer at the bottom of the pot, and Persians over the millennia have learned that if you put potatoes, bread, and other good foods at the bottom of your pot of rice, it becomes a crispy, crunchy, tasty layer that can be served as a side dish, and people often fight over that. So we're going to teach you how to make Chelow and how to make tahdig, and we're going to serve it with saffron butter and some candied barberries, okay? For cooking our Persian white steamed rice, the Chelow, we're going to use 3 cups of Basmati rice. Basmati or Jasmine are the preferred types of rice to make the Chelow or Polow, the Persian rice, because when you cook them, they grow quite large and make for a fluffier Persian rice, better presentation. So we first inspect our rice for rocks, debris, or any bugs that may be in the bag when they're shipped. Then we're going to wash the rice to further clean it. We're going to do that 3 times and just push the grains around in the rice. You don't need to rub the grains between your fingers, scrub them to clean them. Just push them around and change the water 3 times until the water is almost clear. The 4th bowl full of water should be the one you keep. And then you're going to add some salt to make your brine. We're going to add about 4 tablespoons of table salt to make our brine. Once you've added the salt, you're just going to stir it up a little bit for the salt to have a chance to get everywhere in between the grains. And you're going to let it sit for about an hour. Now while your salt brine is working on the rice, you're going to clean your russet potato, wash it up and clean it up well. You don't need to peel them. Then slice the potato into 1/3 of an inch thick medallions. Start boiling your water to cook the rice. I use a thick bottom pot to make sure the bottom of the rice has less of a chance of burning. You boil the water after about 5 minutes and occasionally stirring. you're going to start examining the rice grains and looking for al dente, which means outer layer cooked but the center is still hard. Then strain the rice in a colander. Be very careful, the water splatters and it could burn you here. It's burned me several times until I learned the lesson. Then you run some cold tap water on the rice that washes a good part of the starch out of the rice, which makes your rice grains fluffier and gives it its signature Persian rice presentation and look. And it tastes better too. It's not that sticky rice. So you do that twice and leave the rice on your sink like so the water will drain out. While the water is draining, you're going to make your saffron solution. About a teaspoon of saffron in half a cup of boiling water or very cold water. I think they both will work, so I go with hot water. And let it sit 5+ minutes to infuse. Then you prepare to steam your cooked rice, which is the second stage. For the oil that I put in the bottom of the pot, I use a mixture of a 3-to-1 mixture of grapeseed oil and butter. Butter's for flavor. Grapeseed oil is one of the oils that has a high smoke point and won't burn easily. So that's to protect the bottom layer, which you will see in a minute. We're gonna make called Candied. Put some salt and fresh black pepper at the bottom of your pot with the oil. Then you add your saffron solution, about 2 tablespoons, to the oil that you have there. Make sure the oil gets all around, about inch and a half up on the side of the pot. Now lay down your tadig layer, potatoes or whatever you're planning for goes down there in that oil. This is what you would do if you were using flatbread or in this case flour tortillas. Once you put all of that down, you're going to put some salt and pepper and make sure there's some flavor on the top side of your tadig layer. And then your cooked and now strained rice is going to come back into the pot over the potatoes or whatever you have in there. Spread the rice in there. Make sure you end up with a mound of rice with some space around it. That will allow for steam to rise easily from the bottom, which promotes a crunchier tadig layer at the bottom. And then once you have all the rice in there in shape of a mound, you use a spoon handle or a spatula handle to dig about 8 to 10 holes in the mound of rice. This will also allow for steam to rise up and help your tadig at the bottom be crunchier and the rice to cook thoroughly. You put the lid on and let it cook for about 4 minutes on medium-high to get some initial heat going in the bottom. Helps promote crunchier tadig. Once you get condensation under the lid, which is why I use a pot and recommend a pot with a glass lid, you put your butter or margarine, about 5 or 6 tablespoons, over the mound of rice, and you seal the lid with paper towels or cloth towel and set the temperature to medium-low. This is very important. Every cooktop is different. Learn what the actual medium-low produces on your particular cooktop. It may mean that you burn your rice a couple of times until you get it right. So medium-low for 45 minutes. So now your rice is steaming, is cooking. You have some time to prepare your candied barberries or whatever else you're going to put on the top of your rice and decorate it. Just like we did with the rice, inspect and clean your barberries. Make sure there's no rocks, debris, or stems left in it from shipping. Once you've done that, you need to soak your barberries in some cold water. About 20 to 30 minutes should do it. Make some plump, and because they're shipped dry, and so that kind of rehydrates and plumps them up. 20 to 30 minutes, and then you strain the water and let it sit there until all the water has strained from the berries. Next, you're ready to cook your berries. Put a couple to 3 tablespoons of butter in a small saucepan on medium heat. Add your barberries. Make sure you don't overcook the barberries. If they start getting dark, too dark, that means you've overcooked them, and don't burn them. So about a minute initially, it should be enough until you add your saffron and your sugar, your sweet, and any other aromatics that you add. So make sure the temperature is low. You don't want to burn your barberries. By the way, this is a technique that you would use to cook dried fruits, slivered carrots, orange rind, or anything that you want to candy for the top of your rice. There are regional variations in preparing barberries or other goodies for the top of the rice. Some use cardamom, rose water, and other aromatics. At this point, you add the sweets, which is sugar. Usually Persians add sugar. I add honey, which has the same effect, but it dissolves faster and it gives me a better caramelization the next minute or so, which is how long is left to cook this. Another minute should be enough, and then you just turn off the heat and push it off the eye. Now rice is ready. It's been 45 minutes of steaming it. We're going to put it in a bath of cold water in a sink that's already been filled with cold water. This helps separate the crunchy bottom of the rice, the tahdig, from the metal pot. Of course, here I'm removing 1 to 2 cups of that white rice from off the top, so that later I can add saffron, barberries, or whatever else I'm adding to make the rice for the top of the plate. Now I'm removing the bulk of steamed rice, and then the second step is I remove the bottom crunchy tahdig. I can invert the pot as you see and remove the tahdig pieces. Beautiful, isn't it? It's crunchy. It's Persian French fries, that's what it is, except tastes better. So now I remove pieces as I need to my serving plate, or you can remove the rice and the bottom crunchy layer in one swoop. Okay, look at that. That's what it would look like if I had used the flatbread or tortilla. In this case, it's flour tortilla, Mexican flour tortilla. And the rice are all removed by inverting the pot. This is another case of inverting the pot and removing the tahdig and all of the white rice at the same time. Here I had some potatoes at the bottom. And you rearrange them on the top and serve it just like that, or just start transferring them to serving plates for your guests. Now I'm going to make the saffron rice with the reserved white rice that I'm going to mix with saffron solution and the candied barberries. To to be used for decorating the top of serving plate. So add the saffron solution and then desired amount of candied barberries. I just stir it as so, mix it thoroughly, and I can sprinkle this over the serving plate or put it on your table for guests to serve as they desire. Here you go. The saffron butter and candied barberries. You can add extra butter to that mixture of rice and barberries if you desire. That's what I would serve for my guests in a fancier plate. This is just a house dinner for ourselves. You can use fancy plates. Food porn, look at that. Isn't that pretty? The best rice you ever had in your life. And look at this perfect bite. Crunchy potato tahdig, saffron rice, and candied barberries. Yep. Persian saffron rice. This is really easy to make. There are steps to it, but you can do it. As you can see, I like to have candied barberries, or Zereshk as the Iranians call it, to decorate for the contrast in taste and texture. And of course the crunchy potato or bread or whatever you put on at the bottom of the pot of rice is a delicacy. I can eat this 3 times a day as my main meal. And of course it's served with kebabs, meats, chicken, stews. But rice, Persian rice itself is a meal, okay? Instead of the barberries, or with the barberries, you can have other candied nuts and fruit, dried fruit, like orange rind, carrots, raisins, and make what they call bejeweled rice. So you decorate the top of your plate of rice. So thanks again for being with me here at Cafe Bagheri for this episode. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for sharing this video with your friends and family. And I look forward to seeing you for some very special videos to come very soon. Oh, yum.